My name is Rachel Sander, I'm 36 years old. I hate to toot my own horn, but I'm a career woman working my tail off. My family consists of my husband Sean, our daughter Lily, and me, a family of 3. Sean and I, both working professionals, are in our 9th year of marriage, and our adorable Lily is now in her 2nd year of elementary school. We have our occasional squabbles, but I like to think we're just an average, close-knit family. But recently, something's been bothering me a bit. Hey, Rachel, could you spot me again this month? Really? Again? Please, I'm begging you. I've had a lot of social drinks lately and I need the extra cash. Think of it as supporting your husband. Please, I'm on my knees here. Sean, putting his hands together and bowing his head like a kid. Lately, he's always asking for more pocket money or to get it in advance. We both work, but managing the finances has mostly been my gig. Not that I mind, really. I even enjoy it, thinking of it as part of my responsibilities at home. Frankly, I earn way more than Sean does. So, I figure I can afford to be a bit flexible. But it's getting a bit much. I pull a few $100 bills from my wallet and hand them over. He lights up like a kid on Christmas and bows deeply in gratitude. All right, but this is the last time for this month, okay? Instead of asking me for money, why don't you focus on getting a promotion? I pat him on the back, half joking, half serious. Oh. Yeah, I got it. I'll do my best. He clutches the bills and answers with a sheepish grin. It's hard to take him seriously. I don't know if he gets it or not. I sigh. And so, life went on, until that fateful day. Yes, that was the case, until that day. On a sunny holiday, Sean and Lily went out for a drive together. I couldn't join them because of work. It wasn't the first time they went out without me. And each time I felt both grateful that Sean was taking care of Lily and guilty that we couldn't go as a family. Lily's a good kid, understands my busy work schedule and always cheers me on. Her kindness has been a real lifesaver. I waved them off as they left in the car and headed to work. Then, a few hours later, that life-changing call came. Hello, is this Rachel Sanders' phone? I'm afraid your husband and daughter have been in a serious car accident. Upon hearing the initial news, my mind went completely blank. I can't remember what I said, but after somehow conveying the situation to my boss, I was urgently told to leave work and go there immediately. I rushed to the hospital where Sean and Lily had been taken. Excuse me, I heard my husband and daughter were brought in by ambulance, I said, barely catching my breath at the reception. They quickly led me to the front of the operating room. Operating room? Were their injuries so severe they needed surgery? That's right, they mentioned it was a pretty serious accident. A wave of anxiety and despair hit me, and I clenched my hands tightly in front of my chest. There was a doctor in scrubs outside the operating room. I must have looked awful. Are you the wife? He asked, trying to calm me down with a gentle voice. Please, try to stay calm. Your daughter, Lily, is in emergency surgery. Emergency surgery? Is she that badly hurt? Yes. And your husband, Sean, who was driving, has some fractures but his life isn't in danger. He's sedated right now. Oh my! I felt like the world was spinning. I couldn't believe it. They were both smiling when I saw them off in the morning. How could this happen? I only half listened to the doctor after that. I couldn't take it in. Next thing I knew, I was sitting on a bench in the waiting room, designated for families of those in surgery. I felt so unsteady. In this state, I couldn't even go see Sean, who was sleeping. All I could think about was Lily in surgery. Lily, Lily, Lily. My daughter, my precious child, why did this happen to Lily? Please, let her be okay. I prayed, holding my hands tightly. Then, my cell phone rang in my bag. Shoot, I forgot to put it on silent mode. It was my in-laws' home phone number. Right, I needed to call them too. I grabbed my phone and stumbled outside. Hello? I heard a familiar, cheerful voice.
Hey, Mom? What?
It was Lily's unmistakable voice on the phone. I was confused. Was this a hallucination? Lily was supposed to be in surgery. Ignoring my confusion, Lily's cheerful voice continued. Hey, Dad hasn't called, so are you picking me up today? Grandma and Grandpa said I can stay over because they have tomorrow off too.
Wait, hold on. What do you mean? Is that you, Lily?
What? What are you talking about, Mom? Oh, you don't recognize it because it's Grandma and Grandpa's phone? It's me, Lily. What, really? What's going on? What does this mean? I had thought that Sean and Lily went out together and got into the accident. Could it be they didn't go for a drive together? Did Sean drop Lily off at his parents' place along the way? If so, and if Lily is safe, then who's the one in surgery right now?
Just wait a second. Things are a bit hectic right now. I'll call you back in a bit.
I quickly hung up and stumbled back into the hospital. A nurse noticed me and rushed over, telling me that Lily's surgery was finished. She was in the ICU and, although sedated for the day, I could see her. I was led by the nurse to the room where Lily was. When the door opened, I was struck by a sight I couldn't possibly put into words. From that day on, the relationship between Sean and me began to crumble. The next day, I packed some essentials and went to Sean's hospital room. He was luxuriously in a private room, displaying a pathetic, wilted smile on the bed. What a mess. Can't believe I got caught up in such a big accident. Sorry for causing trouble. Sean laughed it off with a carefree, lighthearted tone. He thought I was clueless, laughing foolishly. If you could call it business as usual, then it was just that. Everything about it was irksome now. But I kept my emotions in check, set down the things, and turned to him. Hey, Sean. I thought you and Lily were in the accident together. But it turns out the girl in the passenger seat was someone else's daughter, right? Who is she? I asked him straight-faced, pretending to know nothing. Sean, trying to come up with an excuse, was visibly flustered. Oh, that girl? She's Lily's friend. Yeah, from the same class. Found her abandoned on the road during the drive and thought to give her a lift home. Then, we got into the accident, he. Really? I didn't know you were so thoughtful towards children, prioritizing her over Lily and dropping her off at your parents'. How kind of you.
Yeah, that's right. Couldn't just leave her there, you know. Man, what a terrible thing to abandon a kid like that.
He started babbling, trying to cover up, his voice unnaturally loud. I watched coldly, but he was too flustered to notice my icy gaze. After a few more meaningless exchanges, I left the room quickly. I couldn't stand breathing the same air as him for another second. The next day, I visited the hospital again. As I approached Sean's room, I could hear voices arguing. The door was closed, but the voices were loud enough to be heard through it. It must have been quite a disturbance for the hospital. I quietly opened the door a few inches to peek inside. There was a shrill female voice and Sean's weak, placating voice. Curtains were drawn around the bed, and they were inside. They didn't notice me entering. I silently started recording their conversation on my phone, expressionless. After capturing enough of their talk, I left the room before they noticed me. I could feel intense emotions boiling inside me. Anger towards Sean, disappointment, resignation, and above all, anger at myself. For not realizing sooner. But it wasn't over yet. I needed to be meticulous in my plan. To completely bring down that man. A week flew by. I made up my mind to confront Sean. His eyes widened in surprise when he saw me suddenly appear. I ignored him and closed the curtains around the bed.
Rachel, what have you been doing? I called and texted you so many times. I needed you for a bunch of things. Why were you ignoring me? I'm injured and still stuck in this hospital. You need to take care of me. My wife should be doing better than this. Did you bring the stuff I asked for? I've been so bored this past week. Oh, and the doctor and police want to check some things about my injuries and the accident. Oh, by the way, a nurse told me you already knew about the girl I was in the accident with.
Hey, Sean. I cut him off calmly. I want a divorce. I tossed the divorce papers onto his bed. Huh? He was speechless. He clearly hadn't seen this coming at all. He looked back and forth between me and the divorce papers in utter disbelief. I took a deep breath. This was the moment of truth. Sean, you've been cheating, haven't you? I said it outright, and his face drained of color. Blood drained from his face, leaving him pale as a sheet.
What? What are you talking about? I wouldn't cheat. I have you and Lily.
Oh, really? Then what's this? I laid out the evidence of his infidelity.
What is this?
His face was a picture of shock. As I looked at him, I remembered the day I received the call that Sean and Lily had been rushed to the emergency room. That day, I was shocked when I faced the girl in the ICU. Connected to numerous machines, sleeping there, she was clearly not my daughter, Lily. Yet, there was something familiar about her. I told the doctors and nurses that she wasn't my daughter, as Lily was safe at my in-laws' house and I was in contact with her. They looked confused. So, who was this girl? I had a hunch and started searching through my phone's contacts. I had registered the class contact list, so she should be there. Ah, found it. Hello, is this the cell phone of Hannah Kirby's mother? My name is Rachel Sander. I'm the mother of Lily Sander, who's in the same class as Hannah. A face I remembered seeing somewhere. Digging through my memory, I realized it was a face I had seen at my daughter's school event. Hannah's mother, Anna Kirby, was frantic on the other end of the phone. Even over the phone, her voice was almost deafening. I informed her about Hannah's accident and the hospital she was taken to, then hung up. I immediately left the hospital and headed to my in-laws' house where Lily was. My mind was still in turmoil. But I was certain something was happening behind my back. I hurried to my in-laws' house. When I arrived, Lily greeted me happily, and my in-laws looked surprised.
Mom! You're late. I've been waiting forever. Lily! Lily!
What's wrong, Mom? She was just as I left her in the morning, perfectly fine. I hugged her tightly, relieved. Thank goodness, my daughter was here. Lily, looking puzzled, asked if I was tired from work as she patted my head. Feeling the warmth of her hand, I was reassured she was alive. Lily, weren't you supposed to go on a drive with Dad? Why are you here at Grandma and Grandpa's? Her face clouded over. Well, I started feeling sick on the way and asked Dad to drop me off. She said, scratching her cheek. But I could tell immediately it was a lie. As I was wondering what this all meant, my mother-in-law suggested, let's not talk at the entrance, come inside, Rachel. She led me to the living room. My mother-in-law and father-in-law were wearing solemn expressions. I had a bad feeling. But I knew I couldn't look away or cover my ears. My mother-in-law spoke first. Just to confirm, do you know that every time Sean takes Lily out, he drops her off here midway and picks her up later to go home? No. I answered, confused, and my in-laws looked as if they had expected as much. What does this mean? Sean and Lily weren't really going out together? But why? Why would he pretend to go out, leaving Lily behind? It's hard to say, but I think Sean might be having an affair. What? My husband saw Sean meeting with an unknown woman. He also saw him playing with a girl about Lily's age. I looked at my father-in-law in disbelief, and he nodded solemnly. I thought I was mistaken at first. But after Sean left Lily with us, I followed him and saw him pick up the same woman and her child in his car. I can't believe it. We were told by Sean that he was bringing Lily here because she was insistent on seeing her grandparents. And when we asked Lily, she said Sean told her to keep it a secret from you, Rachel. to pretend you all spent the day together. He threatened to abandon her if she broke the promise. I felt dizzy. So, Sean was using our daughter to cover up his affair? I couldn't believe it. What had I been seeing all these years? I thought we were a normal, happy family. Was I the only one who thought so? Was Sean mocking me all along, enjoying his affairs, while Lily lived in fear of his unpredictable behavior? Was I the only one oblivious to all this? Thinking about the girl involved in the accident, it was likely that she was Sean's mistress's child. Confusion, anger, despair, my head was spinning with these emotions. My in-laws reassured me, saying they were on my side and I could talk to them any time. I thanked them and left with Lily. In the car on the way home, I made a quiet resolution. I had been too absorbed in my work and hadn't paid enough attention to my family. It was up to me to protect Lily. I was determined to expose Sean's secrets and make him face the consequences. Back home, after dinner, and after Lily had gone to bed, I searched Sean's room. And there it was, evidence of his affair. In his computer, under a folder named Family Memories, were photos of his mistress, pictures of them in bed, and photos of them with her child, looking like a family. I knew the mistress. It was the woman I called today. It was Anna Kirby, the mother of Lily's classmate, Hannah. Sean had been happily playing with his mistress's daughter, threatening our own to keep her quiet. And now, they were involved in an accident. It made me sick. I remembered Sean always disliked being photographed, claiming he wasn't photogenic. We hardly had any family photos, yet here he was with his mistress, posing happily. Was he different with her? Could it be that the allowance Sean frequently begged me for wasn't for drinks with friends, but for his affair? A simmering anger began to boil within me. I wouldn't let this man get away with this. I printed all the photos from the computer. The next day, after hearing Sean's incoherent ramblings in his hospital room, I stopped by the police station to collect his belongings recovered after the accident. Luckily, his cell phone was only slightly cracked and turned on without issue. I immediately opened his messaging app and checked his conversations with his mistress. The exchange was filled with nauseating heart stamps. I took screenshots and printed them out. Then, the following day, I recorded a conversation between Sean and Anna in the hospital room.
Hey, what's going on? I thought you and Hannah were just going for a drive, and then I hear about an accident with severe injuries. Do you know how hard it was to deceive my husband about this? Anna, calm down. It's okay, my wife doesn't suspect a thing. Is that supposed to comfort me? That your clueless wife hasn't figured it out? I'm not in the clear here. My husband is suspicious, and Hannah, she's just a girl, she's hurt. If there are scars, you're taking responsibility for life. What are you talking about? Can't you worry about me a little? I almost died in that accident. Don't worry about Hannah, she's young and will recover quickly. Quicker than an old man like me. Haha. Don't you laugh. Now that it's come to this, we're in this together, right? We have to make sure our affair stays hidden.
I wanted to scream at them but held back. Their arguing solidified my resolve, divorce. I couldn't continue a normal life with Sean after all this. Today, armed with all the evidence, printed photos, screenshots of messages, and the recorded conversation, I confronted him. I couldn't continue a normal life with Sean after all this. Today, armed with all the evidence, printed photos, screenshots of messages, and the recorded conversation, I confronted him. Today, armed with all the evidence, printed photos, screenshots of messages, and the recorded conversation, I confronted him. Now, if you say you haven't had an affair, explain all of this. Sean bit his lip in frustration. I continued calmly. You've always been selfish, Sean. Not caring about Hannah or even her own daughter, Lily. Do you understand that? What do you mean? I've been overwhelmed with my own problems. Look at these injuries. I don't have the luxury to worry about others.
Hannah once told Lily, laughing, "Lily's dad is so into my mom and me. Lily and her mom get no attention at all."
What? Children are much more observant and understanding than adults realize. Hannah told Lily that, and still, Lily has been living in fear and enduring all this because of you. Do you even understand how she feels?
What? Suddenly playing the mother card? If you're going to say that, I have plenty of complaints too. You're always busy with work, leaving Lily to me. We have no time as a couple. Just because you earn more, what does that mean? Ultimately, you're just my ATM. You didn't even notice the affair until now. Don't act all high and mighty. It's all your fault. If you had fulfilled your role as my wife properly, I wouldn't have had to have an affair. You should take all the responsibility.
So this was Sean's true nature. I watched him rant coolly. Then the curtain behind me was pulled back. In came my red-faced in-laws, Anna and her husband. And a lawyer. Huh? Sean's eyes widened in shock as everyone I had gathered suddenly filled the room. Entering silently, they had been listening to our conversation and now surrounded his hospital bed.
This foolish son of mine.
My father-in-law, red-faced with anger, yelled as if he was about to grab Sean.
Ah!
Sean let out a strained sound.
Enough with your disrespect towards Rachel. Who do you think you are? Not only having an affair, but also involving someone else's daughter and causing her injury. Shame on you, shame.
Seriously. I never thought you could be this stupid. Where did we go wrong in raising you? This is embarrassing. My mother-in-law held her head in her hands, overwhelmed by father-in-law's fury. Anna's husband, who had been silently observing Sean, Anna has shrunk back, looking agitated, while the lawyer stood confidently. All these people were here at my call. At this moment, Sean had not a single ally in the room. Nor did Anna. For them, this must have felt like a public execution. I decided to proceed with the discussion.
Oh yes, about the accident you both were involved in. It seems you have some responsibility, don't you, Sean?
What are you talking about? The dashcam footage shows you were driving distracted. The lawyer took over the explanation, revealing that the multi-car accident was largely exacerbated by Sean's distracted driving. Though there were no fatalities, it appeared Sean would be facing a hefty compensation claim.
What? No! I don't have that kind of money or leeway.
Did you think such whining would be accepted? Realistically, Sean, who always asked me for money, lacked the means to pay. But I was determined to make him pay. By any means necessary, following legal proceedings. And from me, I would like to claim damages for the affair and for what happened to Hannah, said Anna's husband, glaring at Sean. Then he looked down at the scattered evidence of the affair on the bed. I plan to file for divorce from Anna and sue her for damages. The rest is up to you two.
No! No way! Why are you saying that? I'm not getting a divorce. If we divorce, it would be pitiful for Hannah.
If you think it's pitiful, then why did you carelessly leave Hannah with your lover, leading to this? I should have acted sooner. Then Hannah wouldn't have suffered like this, and she wouldn't have been teased by her friends for your affair. You're a disgrace as a mother. Reflect on your actions for once. Anna's husband scolded her sharply, and she bowed her head in silence.
Oh, no!
Sean groaned alone. Met only with stern, cold stares. Utterly isolated. I presented the divorce papers again. You'll sign these, won't you? As I asked, Sean bit his lip again.
Sign it now.
Urged by my father-in-law, Sean weakly gripped the pen and slowly signed the divorce papers.
I'm going to make sure you pay a substantial amount in alimony, just so you're prepared.
Sean's face, as he looked up, was the very picture of despair. Ah, this is finally the end. And so, Sean and I got divorced. My ex-husband, having recovered from his injuries, was burdened with a huge amount of compensation and alimony. The story of his accident and affair had spread throughout his workplace. However, unable to quit due to his financial obligations, he continues to work in a state of constant discomfort. Hannah ended up in the custody of her father and still remains hospitalized with serious aftereffects from the accident. Every time my ex-husband visits her, he is berated by her father and relatives, being told not to come again and that his only involvement should be through alimony payments. I don't know where Anna is now, but I heard through the lawyer that she, too, is working tirelessly from morning to night to pay off her alimony. It's all a result of their own doing. As for me, I moved to a new house with my daughter. She had to change schools, but she seems to be doing surprisingly well. Perhaps it's because she's been freed from her father's intimidation. My former in-laws, having cut ties with their son, continue to care for us and offer help. I've reduced my workload to spend more time with my daughter. From now on, I've vowed to myself and to her to prioritize her happiness above all else.